The scene is set within St. Mary's Hospital. John Stanhope, with the entourage of Terasius Cole and Jacob Crowley, have come to the place where Miss Quinn's body has been interred. Within the morgue itself, the body is not tagged, so therefore it is difficult to identify, muddying the waters of bureaucracy to make sure that they have plenty of time to collaborate the story, which they wish the kind world to know. But before the prince can get on to the rather tedious job of covering the masquerade, he entertains the two visiting kindred within the domain of the hospital. He is wearing a typical doctor's lab coat with his name badge. As a respected member of the hospital, a member of the medical board, in fact, he strides with a purpose towards the morgue. The three descend into the cold depths of the refrigerated unit. The mortician on staff comes to greet the medical officer, at which John simply suggests, very subtly, it's time for her to go to lunch. Just for admin approval, I'll do my roll. I doubt she'll be any more than Willpower 4, an enchanting voice. A good old DC 2. Which is easy enough. Bam, 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 bam. And so the kindred have privacy within the morgue. John strides to the unnamed, untagged locker, opens it up, and pulls forward the trolley, revealing the zipped-up body. Help yourselves, gentlemen, and the prince will stand to the side.
Cole takes a unneeded breath as he takes the zipper into his hands, slowly sliding it down rather gently as he does this. The first visages of the late Ariadne Quinn begin to appear to the others. Cole, as the zipper stops at the bottom of the bag, Cole keeps tugging at the zipper, not wanting to move forward in this process. He slowly backs away, allowing Mr. Crowley a closer examination.
Jacob will give Cole a respectful nod and then take a few steps forward. He hesitates. His hand is just hovering for a moment.
As Jacob closes to Ariadne's body, moving slowly, Cole circles backward towards where the head would be of the body, trying to get a good vantage to confirm the awful and terrible news.
Jacob puts his hand down upon the body of one Ariadne Quinn. He closes his eyes. You can see him entering that trance state to use Spirit's Touch, focusing on the memory and the name of Apollo to see what information he may glean. I'd say difficulty 8 and 8 dice for his perception empathy.
How many dice do you need?
8 dice.
6, you say?
8.
No, 8.
So, making the rolls for Mr. Crowley. Fingers crossed, everyone. Boom!
Difficulty 8.
That'd be a botch.
my friend, is a botch. And that means that Jacob feels in his mind a cacophony of images, unfettered, uncontrolled, and completely immeasurable. And he recoils from the body, jerks back, and falls to the floor, literally drops there in what could best be described as a coma. And that is where the state he will remain in for the next 30 minutes.
As Crowley's body collapses to the ground before Terracius Cole, Cole looks to the form of Ariadne Quinn, then back to Jacob Crowley, seeing the man's eyes rolling back up into his head. What has happened?
I am unfamiliar with the powers of the sight. It seems something has overloaded our dear Primogen's brain.
Then I must ask a favor, my prince, as we are in private now.
You may certainly ask.
The body, I wish it to come with me. She should be buried with her sire, Joshua Deep.
Mr. Cole, I understand your sentiment, but trying to cart a body out into your car is going to be difficult.
Cole looks at John Stansoap's suit, glancing at the body.
I am sure you can have the body delivered to Parenporth. I would take this as a personal favor for the highest accord, my prince.
He rubs the temple of his brow, knowing how difficult it's going to be to explain away this. He tries to reason with Cole, saying surely the ashes would be just as suitable.
Yes, that is fine.
And then,
The ashes are fine.
Then, of course, I will do this for you, Mr. Cole.
Cole hesitantly approaches the form on the cold steel slab. His hand gingerly reaches out, sliding a golden lock of hair off the face of Ariadne Quinn. Been but a few weeks since he had seen her last, so full of life, possibilities that now will never be. Cole abruptly pulls away from the body, staring back at Stansoap.
So what shall we do with Crowley?
Help me take off his clothes. We'll put him in a patient's smock, put him in a wheelchair, and wheel him out to your car. He'll just be another outpatient.
Cole gives a grimace and slowly nods. Slowly hovers over Mr. Crowley, unbuttoning his buttoned shirt, and as Stansoap readies a wheelchair.
Jacob clearly has no opinion about the indignity of this matter. He is completely and totally immune to any effects of the world, at least for 30 minutes. I imagine he'll probably come to his senses just as you're getting to Cole's car and be like, hey, where the hell are my clothes?
As the two exit the hospital, a rather comic pair, the gruff, muscled form of Terracius Cole wheeling what appears to be the invalided form of Jacob Crowley. John piles up the clothes and puts it in the incinerator, closing the door with a small amount of glee, as he is very much aware much money Toreador where it would spend on their clothes. He then pulls forward the body of Ariadne Quinn, bending down so he's almost face to face. You had everything. A sire that cared for you, an elder no less, beloved by the city. You were even allowed to keep an independent status. You were given everything and appreciated nothing. In the end, you were nothing but a traitor. I spit on you, Miss Quinn, for making me believe that innocence still existed in this world. How wrong I was. I will see you in hell with the rest of us. He loads up the body of Ariadne Quinn, pushing her with some satisfaction and glee into the incinerator and burning the corpse, collecting the ashes in one of the prepared urns, tucking it under his arm to deliver it to Paramporth. Even in death you still vex me, Miss Quinn. As he goes about the cover-up. First he meets with the ambulance crew, making sure that he changes their memory, using his own medical knowledge to formulate the plan. That she was a party-goer who had fallen in the lake, caught to hypothermia and died in the ambulance. John's own knowledge of medical was allowed to describe the terminology as well as the symptoms in exasperating detail. Nothing can be left to chance. He modifies the memories. Very easily. The reports from the ambulance crew will correlate their story. And now for the body. He needs to make sure that the administration error means that her body was incinerated before the police could properly identify her. This will involve a intelligence and bureaucracy roll. She barely succeeds. He muddles the paperwork. He will then place within the mind of the mortician, come back after being sated with a hearty cup of soup and pot of coffee. Exactly the process needed. That he had accidentally burnt away Miss Quinn. Seeing she had no tag, thought she was a non-collected member of society and simply needed to be incinerated and moved on, allowing for the creature's error to cover up any further masquerade breach. Three successes. And finally, to top it all off, he will return to his office and pull his strings and contacts, making sure that the bureaucracy correlates their story. That any eyewitness accounts or any well, people that are being too nosy are met with the same story. Perhaps as a way to get more funding to his hospital, since their bureaucracy is in shambles, they need more government funding. And he'll roll his manipulation and influence in the medical variety to see if he can accomplish this. Another 2 successes, so feeling satisfied, he leaves the hospital, gives the pot of ashes to his ghoul, telling him that once he has dropped him off back at his haven in Nobility Hill, to deliver the ashes to Perranporth, to Mr. Cole, so that this unworthy child of a great kindred may rest beside him. The scene ends.